Once upon a time, I was totally controlled by my emotions and thoughts. Depressed and anxious at 15 years old, I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for 4 years of my life. And when I was finally discharged at the age of 19, my life was at rock bottom. I had to start building up a life again from scratch. I had no education, I had no hobbies, I had no friends, I had no career path or social skills. I was starting from level 0. But in this moment I knew that I only really had two choices. I could either let this experience define me and stay stuck feeling sorry for myself, or I could take action on everything that was in my control that I could do to try and turn my life around. And so I chose the latter. I started working on my goals of overcoming social anxiety by speaking to people. I learned how to look after my mind and body. I built up better eating habits and started working out daily. I learned new skills so I could get a job, and years later I completed all of my goals. I'm completely free of anxiety, depression. I turned everything around, and I'm finally at peace. And the biggest lesson that I learned through my experience is that if you want to get somewhere in your life, or you have a goal that you want to achieve, the biggest obstacle which is going to stop you from getting there isn't your current circumstances or things that are happening in the external, but it's your mind and your emotions. It's all the resistance and negative thoughts we face. I can't be bothered. I can't do this. I'm too tired. I'm so stressed. I want to give up. I don't have time. This is too hard. I'm sure you can relate to this type of thinking, right? And so in this video, we are going to get into 3 discipline hacks you can use to push through your uncomfortable emotions or any resistance you face so that you can keep on track towards your goal even when you're not feeling motivated. The first hack is called one step at a time. And I'm going to give you an example scenario, but Sarah has started to notice lately that she's been scrolling on TikTok on the couch a lot, just laying down, and she's not been moving her body as much. And she's starting to notice that her physical health is becoming worse. She's becoming more tired. Her energy is quite low. And so she's decided that she's going to try and go to the gym 3 times a week so that she can feel good in herself. And so it's Saturday morning and her alarm goes off. She opens her eyes and she's feeling groggy and tired as she taps her phone and she starts thinking to herself, I can't be bothered to go to the gym today. She remembers how she promised herself she would go, but in her mind she's thinking about doing the workout and it's just too much effort, so she rolls over into bed and goes back to sleep. And here is where Sarah went wrong. When she woke up in the morning, she immediately started thinking about her in the gym and the workout that she was going to have to do. She was looking at the top of the mountain when she hadn't even took the first step. Sarah's first step when she woke up wasn't to go to the gym and do the workout. Her first step was to just get out of bed. Okay, now she's out of bed. Her next step is to go get a drink. Okay, now she's got a drink. Her next step is to brush her teeth. Okay, the next step is to get dressed. You see, when we focus on the hard task or goal itself, we are focusing on the height of the discomfort. We're looking at the top of the mountain, and so then we feel all of this resistance. I can't be bothered. I'm too tired. I don't feel like it. And it's because we're trying to jump from level 0 to 100. And we haven't completed all the other levels yet in between. And honestly, I use this one step at a time technique every single day in every single area of my life. For example, even if I'm doing a video, a lot of the times I'm like, oh my god, I have to set everything up. I have to make sure I look okay. I have to, put a bit of energy and life into myself. And I just feel all of this resistance. But then I say to myself, Heather, what's your next step? My next step is that I just have to get the tripod out. I'm not focusing on filming right now. All I gotta do is get the tripod out. Okay, the tripod's out. What's my next step? My next step is just to get the mic out. Okay, what's my next step? My next step is just to get the camera out. I'm still not thinking about filming. I'm not even going there because that's not where I am. And then before I realize it, I focus on each step. I'm sat in front of the camera and then I think to myself, well, everything's ready now, I may as well film. Honestly, this method works with everything. The truth is, our situation isn't going to change by waiting around, waiting to feel motivated, waiting to feel inspired. Our situation changes by taking action. Because once we take one step, we start to gain momentum. For example, when Sarah's alarm goes off, all she has to do is focus on her next step. Getting out of bed, okay, tick. Brushing her teeth, okay, tick. Getting dressed, okay, tick. All of these steps are creating momentum, and then boom, before she even realizes it, Sarah's standing there in the gym and she thinks to herself, well, I'm here now. I may as well do my workout. And so stop looking at the top of the mountain because you're not there yet. all you have to do is take one step at a time. Now, the second hack is to think of your future self. As humans, we tend to think in the short term. We tend to react to the present moment and how we're feeling today. Oh, I'm so tired today. I'm just gonna lay on the couch. Oh God, I'm so stressed today. I'm gonna treat myself to a big burger and chips. Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. I'm not gonna go to the gym today. But the big problem with this is that when we are letting our present feelings dictate our actions, this can then hold us back from becoming the future version of ourselves that we desire to be. And so you have to start making it a regular and daily practice of focusing on the future self of who it is you want to become. When I came out of hospital, I struggled a lot with social anxiety. I already had anxiety before going in, but then after being there for 4 years, it's safe to say my social skills kind of hit an all-time low. Whenever I had to speak to someone, I always faced so much resistance, so many negative thoughts, so many doubts. But yeah, I would still push myself to go out and speak to people. I would speak to strangers. I would go to events with new people who I'd never met before. I would purposely put myself in those uncomfortable situations, and it would have been so much easier to just stay at home. No one was forcing me to do it. But what kept me going every time was that I constantly thought about my future self. I constantly kept in my mind all the reasons of why this is important to me, and I would remind myself that by me doing this difficult task, by me facing these uncomfortable feelings, it wasn't just to benefit who I was that day, but I was doing it for my future self, the future version of Heather that I knew would one day look back and be so thankful that I did this. By constantly thinking about your future self, you're reminding yourself that literally every action you take today, every choice you make today, is going to add up and shape your future reality. You might not feel like working out right now, but your future self is going to be so thankful for the energy and the confidence that you gain from staying consistent. You might not feel like eating healthy and resisting those temptations, but your future self is going to be so thankful when your body is healthy and well. You might not feel like studying right now, but your future self is going to be so thankful when you're in the career of your dream. And so when you're next faced with a difficult task and you feel those uncomfortable emotions and you're getting those thoughts of resistance, can you think of your future self? And can you do this for them? Can you complete this hard task, not just for you right now, but for the future self of who it is you want to become? And start to imagine, how are you going to feel after this task is done? How will your future self feel? Because I bet you they will be so thankful for your hard work. Now, the third hack is to remove obstacles. When we are trying to make a change in our lives, or build better habits, or achieve a goal, we need to make this process as easy as possible for ourselves so that we will stick to it. Sounds like common sense, right? Well, many of us don't do that. We actually set ourselves up for failure because we don't prepare. And failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Let me give you an example. But let's say you want to study for this course, but you often find yourself distracted by your phone and scrolling on social media. Well, the simple answer to this is to just remove the obstacle. Put your phone in the other room whilst you study and just remove the temptation. Or another example is, let's say that you want to get healthier or fitter, and so you want to start eating a better diet. Well, then remove the obstacles. Stop buying in all the crappy food, having all the things in your cupboard, and just get rid of all the temptations. Or maybe you want to start eating better, but you notice that you lack the time and energy to cook. And this often leads you to grabbing those quick, convenient foods when your hunger starts to kick in. And so in this case, the big obstacle is that every day you haven't got anything prepared. And so the solution would be to just set aside an hour or two per week to just do a bit of meal prep ahead of time, so every day you have something prepared. Many of us just go into our goals thinking that we can just use willpower to succeed, but willpower has a battery life. We do not have infinite willpower in a day, and if we're not making things easier for ourselves or preparing ahead of time, it's kind of like you're swimming against the tide. We're swimming out to achieve this goal, and yet everything is set up against us because we haven't took the time to prepare. And so we want to start removing any obstacles in our way and setting up our environment for success. If you're wanting to exercise in the morning, lay out all your workout clothes so they're ready for you. If you want to eat healthier, prepare healthy snacks or meals beforehand. If you're trying to study for your course, organize your workspace and remove any distractions. When we fail to prepare, we prepare to fail. And so think about, how can you remove any obstacles? How can you make this as easy as possible for yourself? I hope this video could have helped you in some way. Click here to see 3 daily practices you can do every day to build up your discipline skill. Thank you so much for watching.